After 20 years of building together through dust, deadlines, and damn good ideas, Pace and Adam invite you to join them for honest conversations about the home building world. Welcome to Build Connected, where experience meets insight, powered by Diamond Home Restoration.
Welcome back, everybody, to Build Connected. I am Pace.
And I'm Adam.
Going with a straight brim cap. Very youthful, very, very energetic. You got the vibes going. And the Phillies. Phillies are in the house. Okay.
Yep.
You know, something tells me you are almost on vacation.
Yeah, you can see I'm not wearing my work garb today. I'm checked out. I am
100%.
leaving. I'm leaving on Sunday, going to a faraway land, and I may never return.
Is that true? You might not be coming back?
No, I'll come back.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be back. 2
All
weeks.
right. Well, you're gone for a couple weeks. In the meantime, we got work ahead of us. We're going to figure out the remote upcoming episodes. There might be something unique about the next couple of weeks. We don't know yet. We're going to figure that out. But what are we talking about today?
Oh, we are going to talk about kitchen faucets, but not your regular run-of-the-mill kitchen faucet. We're talking about your faucet that can provide you with, drum roll please, water. Still water is what I'm referring to. Sparkling water and boiling water. You get all three. Boom! All three out of one tap.
I love it.
And that we'd be talking about the Zip system, the Zip water system. And man, what a great product. It's been around. I don't know how long it's been around now, but it's not new to the market. Been around for a number of years, and we've been installing them for a number of years because they're badass. They're not cheap, but they're badass. I don't know about you, Pace, but I drink a lot of sparkling water. One might say too much sparkling water. In fact, I don't think I drink any still water. All water has to be sparkling.
Yeah, you and I do this different. I drink a lot of sparkling water too. To be honest with you, it's only one of two vices I have left in my life. And my dentist isn't happy about it, and he's going to have to take a back seat to what I want on this one. I drink it out of the can. But I drink like 4 of them a day, and I know you use your system. This system that I don't have in my house, it's really, really nice.
I don't have this system in my house. I wish
No,
I
you have
did.
another system.
I mean, I've got the old school, like, screw the canister. What's that thing called? I don't even remember. Anyway,
Yeah,
look, we drink out of the can too. But like sometimes I run out of cans and then I use my little machine. And I don't know how you like your sparkling water, but sometimes I'll pull a lemon off the lemon tree, cut that bad boy in half, squeeze a little lemon in there, put my sparkling water, a little bit of ice, and booyah, there you have it.
I don't hate that. I don't hate
Yeah.
that.
Anyway, I digress. Let's talk a little bit more about the Zip system. So, we've installed these in a number of homes, and everybody that we put these in for, they're always very happy. Again, kind of a heavy price tag, but look, you're not spending money on cans and that sort of thing. You do have to refill how we have the refillable cartridges that we use for our little over our countertop units, right? These are larger canisters that hook up to the machine, but you can get this faucet that can kind of do all three of these for you. You can spend a little bit of less money and get the one that does just still water and sparkling, or you can kind of upgrade to the one that provides you with the boiling water as well. But, important to know that these units, they have a separate unit that fits underneath your countertop in the cabinet, and they take up quite a bit of space. It's like the size of a big cube, almost the size of this printer. Not quite as big, but you got to make sure that you take that into account when you're installing these units.
Yeah, we are living in an age of convenience, and this one offers a lot. I mean, you could say it's an extravagance, if you will, but I mean, if you drink a lot of water, You drink a lot of tea, right? Having that on demand, hot water, boiling water, I mean, that saves you a lot of time. Having that built in sparkling tap, man, it's a great convenience. And like you said, it's been, I don't know, 3 or 4 years we've been installing more and more of these.
Man, if I could have the Zip water system in conjunction with my Toto bidet seat toilet, whew, I'd have it all, man. I'd have it all.
Yeah, you're one step away from having it all. If you come back from that far away land, you're just one step away from having it all. All right. Well, that's great. Let's move on. You and I were talking about something, a concept we've talked about before on the podcast, but it's worth revisiting because it's at the heart of everything that we do. It's at the heart of most things in life, and it's value, right? And I want to start by just talking about what value is. And I'm not talking about if you hit the dictionary, you're probably going to see something about price, and it's not correct, right? Value is a much more complex thought, right? And I want to talk about the value triangle. It's something that I think I learned about originally in Remodel Magazine, I don't know, 20 years ago or so. It's the first time I really heard the concept. This concept of the value triangle consists of three legs. On one leg, you have quality. That's what we would call craftsmanship, right? That attention to detail. On another leg, you have price, and that's just the absolute cost of doing something. And then on the third leg, you have time. For every client, value is going to mean something different based on your priorities. From that triangle, on any job, you can pick two, but you can't have all three. So you can have something fast and good, right? But you're sacrificing on the price, right? To get those two, price has to go up. You can ask for inexpensive and low quality, right? And then in that case, time can go way, way down, right? So you can always pick two, but you can't pick all three. And that is where value lies, right? And like I said, it's different for everybody.
Pace, I want it all. I want it cheap. I want it quality. I want it fast. Tell me I can't have it all.
You can't have it all. You need
Okay.
to be able to understand your priorities, right?
Okay.
I can't give you the best of something in the fastest amount of time for dirt cheap. I can't do that.
What would you say that our clientele kind of leans into most in that triangle?
I think that typically we're looking at quality and price, right? Time sometimes is the most important thing, but not most of the time. I think that's usually the last consideration for most of our projects. So with that added time, you can reduce cost a little bit. Like we've been asked before to, have double crews on jobs. We've been asked to work through every weekend. We've actually been doing commercial jobs. We've been asked to work, double shifts. Um, in general, that's not something that we do. We've made exceptions on some of these things, mainly on commercial jobs. But I would say that in general, time is the thing that gets sacrificed from the value triangle.
And how would you say that we are able to use this as kind of a qualifier for clients that are fit for us?
Well, if you just demand to have all three, that's a disqualifier. I mean, it starts there. But also, if you can't answer the question, right, of what's important to you, what your priorities are, that also means you're probably not a good fit. Because if you can't clearly define what your needs are, what your priorities are, what's important to you, then it's going to be a very the focus of the job isn't there, right? And that tends to lead to more poor outcomes, right? But if you know what you want and you know the things that are at the top of your list, then you got a good shot at having a successful project.
Yeah, I love this triangle that we talk about. It's something that you and I have talked about our whole career, right? And people in our industry know about it and can relate to it. And I think good contractors have a great understanding of it, and it's a great way to communicate with your potential clients to find out what is important to them. And yeah, it's a great topic, and there's a lot of information that comes out of this conversation when we talk to our clients about these three things.
Yeah, and I think if you can't understand, what those priorities are for you, and you just want cheap, right? There's a whole bunch of people out there that build that way, that will use that model to their advantage oftentimes. That's just not us. Like, we want to understand what your priorities are. We want to be able to provide that value that's important to you. Um, we can't always do it. We can't say on most projects, we can't say we're going to work 24/7 and we're going to have double crews. We're not set up for that. But there are people out there that are.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks for that, Pace. Let's talk about interesting on a project topic, okay? And I think look, I think that our podcast, I think it relates we relate to homeowners as well as people in the trades. And I think this topic is probably geared towards both. And that is subcontractors and how they fall under the umbrella of the general contractor, right? You and I, as general contractors, have our family of subcontractors that we've been using for a long, long time. And, it takes time for us to develop those relationships and know who can step up to the quality of the work that we require them to do. Um, and I think all builders go through the conversation with a client at some project or another where the client might say, I have a subcontractor that I was recommended to me, and I used them once before, and I'd like to have them come and do, let's just use an example, the floors. Okay. And as a contractor, when we hear that, I get I get nervous. I don't know how you feel when somebody says something like that, where they want to bring their own person in. I get nervous for a couple of reasons. One is I think about how are we going to manage this person, because we don't know their work. We don't trust them. They might be the greatest. And quite frankly, it's probably happened to us once or twice where we ended up meeting a subcontractor through a homeowner, bring them in, and they turned out to be really, really great. So I don't put that down. But, we have our systems in place. And for somebody new to come in, it's hard to know how their quality of work is going to end up. And, part of what we do is we manage all of our subs. So bringing somebody new into the family and figuring out how we're going to manage them is challenging, right? Because ultimately, if somebody is bringing them on, if a homeowner is bringing on that subcontractor, we kind of want to step away and say, look, this is your person. You're going to be in charge of the quality of their work. But the truth is, when the rubber meets the road, you and I have to be there to manage the schedule and make sure that things are happening in the proper progression, you know?
This situation arises really on I feel like most projects. And I'm gonna start with a question. Have you ever been to the symphony?
No.
Good. That makes sense for someone from Philly. That makes a lot of sense to me. So a symphony has a conductor, right? A conductor takes many pieces, right? They practice all the time, right? The end product is based on how many players come together. That is what a general contractor does. In this scenario, we're the conductor. We don't make music, we make dust and dreams, right? That's who we are.
All right.
So if you say, hey, I've got this great fiddle player, let's stick him in the chair. He can be yo-yo ma, right? He can be the best fiddle player. I'm making fun of fiddlers here. Uh, the point is, he hasn't practiced with the other players. So it's not relevant how good of a fiddler he is, right? It's about how the team works together, how all of the individual players come together to create something. And that's exactly what we are, right? We share a space, right? You can have a plumber, you can have carpenters, You can have a project manager and maybe an electrician walking around at the same time. Everybody's dirtying the space, right? Everybody's getting in the way of the other. Everyone's got their own tools, right? It is a dance. Like the job site is a dance, and introducing something new to that dance changes the outcome of the project. And so we spend a lot of time working on our system so that we can ensure an outcome. And when you stick your hands in there and you start changing the players, it changes the outcome.
Man, you're an analogy guy, and it's been a while, I feel like, since you've had a great analogy. And I the symphony, I'm not saying I'm gonna go out and see a symphony, but wow, well done. I like that.
It
And,
is.
you know,
It's a
look,
dance, and um, it takes a lot of time and a lot of practice to get that dance down, and that's what general contractors do.
and look, we're open to the conversation with a homeowner who might wanna bring somebody on, but I think I'll be honest, I think more times than not, it doesn't work out as you would want it to work out. And the reason I'm having this conversation right now is because it's fresh in my mind because we actually just went through this on a project where the homeowner did hire their own subcontractor and it went fine, but there were definitely like moments where they don't understand our process and some things got overlooked on their end and then got told to us when I'm not saying when it was too late, but late in the game when it could have been dealt with sooner. It's sometimes doesn't go as smoothly. The music isn't played as cleanly and nicely as sometimes you would want it to be. So I think as a homeowner, be mindful of people that you might want to bring into the project that are not part of the contractor's family and as a contractor, if somebody is wanting to bring somebody in, just be wary and cautious and make sure you have, checks and balances in place if you're going to go down that road.
Be mindful. I love it. I think it's a great phrase that leads to good things. Let me give you my first person account of this. I'm doing work at my place in Maine right now, and I have a
Another main story.
yep,
Here we go. It's okay.
right
I'm
on
sitting down.
topic. Right on topic. So I have a contractor. It's my first time working with the contractor, and I've been very happy. I trust them, right? And I'm my own worst enemy because I know too much, right? So, like I have said out loud to them, I'm going to do my best to be a good client and not a general contractor, right? I'm going to try to just rely on you as a trusted resource, which he has proven to be. It's hard for us to stay out of the way sometimes, right? And I think that clients don't know any better, and well, I've heard that this guy's really good. As my brother told me, so let's just throw him into the mix. So I'm doing my best to stay out of the way and trust my contractor system. I think that's what it is. Ultimately, it's about trust, being mindful, all of those things.
There you go. Nice. Well, listen, another good show today. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. The next show, I will probably be addressing you all from a far away location to be continued. Anyway, thanks, everybody. I am Adam.
And on pace.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thanks for joining us on Build Connected. For more stories, insights, and ideas, visit diamondhomerestoration.com or find us on Instagram and LinkedIn. We'll be back next week. We hope you will too.